Hi guys, and welcome to another video. I am so scared to be filming this right now because if you're watching this, that means that we are officially reading horror books and I'm terrified. I am someone that is so prone to having nightmares and getting freaked out and just getting the spookies. Overall, it's definitely something that I try to avoid. Now, I'm fine when it comes to like going to a haunted house or if I have to watch a scary movie. Like, I am okay in the moment. It's not like I'm scared in that regard. Like, during the actual experience, I'm cool, calm, and collected and I don't feel scared. But then at night is a different story and I will have nightmares. So I'm very scared about this video, but I feel like because of the spooky season, because of Halloween, I feel like I kind of have to, and I also want to branch out a little bit and maybe I'll find a new genre that I love. The first book that we're going to be reading is Slewfoot by Brom. B-R-O-M is the author's name, and it is already gonna freak me out. I'll put up a picture on the screen of the book. It looks like the bottom half of her is like goat or something, which already freaked me out. I can't remember anything about it, so I'm going into it pretty blind. I'm scared, you guys. I'm scared. I undid the clip and then proceeded to make TikToks and doom scroll on TikTok because I'm too scared to start. And then I was like, okay, get over it, girl. You need to start reading. So then I downloaded the book, and within the first 3 sentences, I'm already like, get me out of here. The New World, Sutton, Connecticut, March 1666. A shadow deep in the darkness. A whisper. Another. No. More whispers. Urgent. I do not hear you, I cannot hear you, for the dead do not hear. A chorus of whispers. I'm scared. I'm scared because I'm gonna have nightmares. And you might be thinking, hey girl, just wait for Sam. Wait for her to come, and then you guys can read it together and it won't be so scary. But then, like, what's the point? You know, like, if I'm not getting scared by the horror book, then am I really reading a horror book? I guess not. So part of me is like, just embrace the spooky, just get freaked out, but then I'm not gonna be able to sleep. And I feel like this is making me seem like a wuss, like that I haven't watched scary movies or that I can't go in a haunted house or anything. Like, I have. I've had really scary things happen to me in real life and I'm fine. Like, I just know it's gonna give me nightmares. I just know it. Okay, I'm gonna read now, I guess. Good morning, guys. I briefly wanted to discuss the book and kind of give you my thoughts and also kind of debunk myself. So I know you guys saw in the beginning, I was really freaked out and scared and convincing myself that this was going to be like the scariest experience of my life and then I was going to get nightmares and yada yada yada. I think I talked myself into such a little fit that when the actual like spook of the story started, it wasn't that scary. I haven't finished it yet, so obviously there's still room for it to get scarier, but it just really isn't that bad. I don't know, maybe it's just not this book, or maybe I have like the wrong idea of horror. Like, maybe horror is just gory and not necessarily scary. Or maybe it's just this book and there are other books that are way freakier and I'll feel that way when I read the other horror books in this video. I feel like my eyelashes look a little uneven. If anything, I'm kind of bored. That's the only thing that's kind of bumming me out, is that I'm not interested in the story. I think that if it was scary, even though the plot is kind of boring, I think it would have just kept me going because I would have been freaked out and like trying to rush through the book. But because it's not scaring me, I feel like I'm very aware about how long it's taking me. I think I'm like 41% of the way through or something like that. And I feel like I've been reading this book forever. If you don't know what the book is about, you're following Abatha, and she is from England. She comes over, you don't really see any of that. You kind of start with her already here, but she comes over to the New World. This is like colonial times, New England era. She comes over, she meets her husband, which just the concept of meeting your husband after you guys are already stuck together is freaking horrifying. Meets her husband. He ends up being like nice, which is good. Moves in with him and they live on a farm kind of like in the middle of nowhere in a small town. So they have to like do a little bit of a trek to get into town, and they're in a very Puritan place. So everyone is hyper religious. Everyone is like constantly watching you to see if you're doing anything bad. Also trying to see if you're doing anything like witchy. You know, they're constantly looking for the devil, constantly accusing people of working with the devil, constantly accusing you of not being religious enough. They're super strict. They have all these rules. Anyways, it's super religious, super scary because you literally could sniffle and they're like, oh, I think the devil's in you, time to die. Like, they are that cutthroat. So that's not very good for Abatha girl because she comes from a witchy kind of family. Please don't park next to me. Thank you. Basically, something happens where the guy who owns the farm, which is technically her brother-in-law that they're like paying off, he runs into some trouble and basically like says, you're gonna help me out because you're such a good brother and you're gonna let me sell the farm that's supposed to be for you to the guy I owe money to, and you better listen. And she's very opinionated, very strong, and is like, but women aren't allowed to speak. They're not allowed to talk about business. They're not allowed to have almost any rights at all. And that's kind of like the base of it, where, you know, now she's getting into these issues and now they have to go to the reverends who are actually like in charge of the town. So rather than having like a mayor, they have 3 reverends that kind of decide everything. But the creepy part of it, the reason that it's horror and like the slewfoot aspect of it, is there's this like goat creature thing, and he basically crawls out of this pit in a cave. But overall, there's not really that much going on. You know, like I was expecting for there to be like a lot of darkness, and I really would just describe this, rather than being like scary, I would describe it as disturbing. There's definitely been a lot of gore, and not even a lot. I feel like I've read more gore in like dark romances. I'm hoping that it gets better. I'm hoping that it scares me a little bit, and I'm hoping that it gets a little more interesting. I don't know if I gave my final little wrap up with what's that book called? Slewfoot. I ended up giving it a 3 point something stars. I actually was good and rated it like right away. I'm normally horrible with that, and I end up forgetting to rate them, and then it's like at the end of the month I have to try to remember what I felt for the book and go back. Yeah, 3.5 is what I gave it. The ending was good. The second portion, like the second half of the book, was really interesting, and I felt like this would be a really great book to read in like a book club buddy read setting. Like I really feel like there are a lot of topics that you could dive deeper into. But now we're reading Blood on Her Tongue. This is by Johanna Van Veen. It's vampire something, and I picked this for our fall TBR prompt that was vampires. And obviously you get the gist from the way the book looks, which I'm really excited. Once we read this book, I'm hoping that it's good, and I do want to end up keeping it. And I kind of think I will keep it even if we don't love it, because of the way it looks. Like this would just be such a great book to put up during this time of year. Like this book as like a fall Halloween decoration piece, I just feel like would be absolutely amazing, especially with it out like this where the pages are showing. It seems there's twin sisters, and then one of them starts showing signs of something going wrong. So long time no chat. I've been reading Blood on Her Tongue literally barely, like you can tell, not been getting through it, and I'm kind of thinking that this might be a soft DNF. Now if you've watched my channel before, you know that I really don't do DNFs. I have a couple of books that I have put to the side and not continued reading, but I will eventually get through, and I have gotten through a couple, so it's more just I put it to the side and then I get to it eventually, hence why I call it a soft DNF, because it really is, I'm not gonna finish this right now type of situation. I'm starting to feel a little slumpy, and I really don't want to get slumpy because I have so many books that I want to read, and I kind of felt like that might happen with this being like the video idea, because like you saw in the beginning, horror and scary stuff is not necessarily my cup of tea, even though like I haven't really gotten scared yet and I haven't gotten uncomfortable really while reading it. There have been a couple like scenes that are obviously graphic or gory or not my favorite, but nothing that has made me feel really uncomfortable or scared or anything, and I haven't had nightmares surprisingly, but I just get kind of bored with all the gore. I don't find gore very like entertaining or interesting. I find it underwhelming, you know, because I feel like I start to get kind of tuned out to it and like desensitized to it. So once you have like a couple gory scenes, everything else after that is just gonna be boring to me. I'm kind of deciding on what I want to do with the rest of this video, because the next book that I had planned to read is the other book that's on our fall TBR, and I keep forgetting the name of it, but it's a T. Kingfisher book, and I really don't want to slump myself out, and my camera battery's done. We're back. I'm just nervous that I'm gonna slump myself out. I'm also really tired, so if I seem like super low energy, that's why. I'm trying to decide what I'm gonna do, and I might put this down for now and jump into the next book. And if that book really isn't for me, I think I'm just gonna call this video for what it is and it be a fail. But I think I'll still post it because I feel like it's still fun to show that your reading journey doesn't always have to be very successful, and maybe trying a genre, even if you give it like a good effort, it still just might not be for you, and that's okay, and it doesn't matter, and it doesn't mean that you're less of a reader. It doesn't mean that you just don't get it or something. Like, it could just not be what you enjoy. So I'm just reading. I wish you could see how ridiculous I look trying to achieve this angle, because I am standing on a stool so that you can see my books, because I just feel like, well, our books, but I just feel like I never am able to show the books on display when I'm talking to you guys, and I feel like it ruins the vibe sometimes. In order for me to get that angle for you to see the books from where I can actually stand, you get straight up double chin, and pretty confident and okay with how I look and my weight and everything, but sometimes you just are not in the mood to see what you look like from that angle. So I am standing on a stool and you guys are on my desk with my tripod almost completely extended so that you can see my books. And I think I'm gonna do this angle every once in a while because it definitely is like more the vibe I want to give. Now I have to find my phone, get back down. This is how tall I actually am. Chapter 1. I'm here. So really just started. I already like this more. I feel like I just need a specific writing style to get through these types of books, and I can already tell. I'm not necessarily saying that I'm going to be obsessed with the book. Maybe like the plot might not be. I don't know, because I'm literally one swipe into the book. But the writing style, I'm already into it, and so I'm gonna read you kind of like what it sounds like. A mushroom is being described, and I guess the mushroom has gory details about it. Perhaps it would not have been so unsettling if the mushrooms had not looked so much like flesh. The caps were clammy, swollen, beige, puffed up against the dark red gills. They grew out of the gaps in the stones of the tarn, like tumors growing from diseased skin. I had a strong urge to step back from them, and an even stronger urge to poke them with a stick. And I like that type of writing. I don't know if you guys do. Maybe that's like boring and maybe you don't understand what I'm trying to say. I'm already excited. I already feel like I'm making more progress, and that it was already a good idea that I put blood on her tongue to the side. It's looking up. It's looking up. It is the next day. I am loving this book. I am loving the writing, and sorry if it sounds kind of crazy, like the first couple words, other than me saying good morning to Sam, that I've spoken, but I'm 20% through the book. And like I said from the very beginning, when I started reading this, I knew that the writing style was definitely up my alley, and I am very excited about it. I feel like this is definitely, again, I don't necessarily know because horror isn't my favorite and I don't want to get too excited. This is definitely going to be an author that I revisit and that I read multiple books of theirs, and I'm just really excited about it. I don't know how to explain it without giving away too many details because the book is so small that you can easily start to spoil because the book is so little. The detail that is like not that far into the book is almost like, 20%. The soldier got a letter from an old friend from childhood, and she was saying that her brother, who was also one of the soldier's friends, her brother thinks that she's dying and that she really wants the soldier to come and see her and, I don't know, like kind of help. So the soldier shows up, and the brother of the girl who reached out to the soldier, I think the soldier's name is Easton, but the brother didn't know that Easton was coming, and so he's like, what are you doing here? And he's not like upset, but he's just like surprised. She is really, really ill, where they think she's about to die. He's super ill, and they're living in this old crumbling estate where it looks terrible. They don't have a lot of money, so they're not using a lot of wood to like heat up the place. Like there's not a lot of light, there's not a lot of fires. I very rarely start books blindly, and so I want to enjoy experiencing the story with like a fresh set of eyes and not waiting for like certain plot points that I already know are going to happen to show up. Anyways, I'm enjoying the book. I'm going to listen to it while I'm at work, and hopefully it goes well. Hopefully I'm super into it. I am coming on to end the vlog because I finished the book. So the one thing that I will say is I feel like when it comes to horror, I definitely needed to have some sort of fantasy aspect. I ended up rating it a 3.75. I felt like it was good. The only thing that really kept it from being anything super crazy is I feel like I just personally can't get super into a story that is that short. I'm definitely not like a short story person. I prefer my books long. I know I complain about it sometimes because obviously reading so many long books can get a little tiresome, but if I had to pick between the two, I would prefer for my books to be longer, just that I do get that detail, and I feel like that's the only thing that was missing is a little bit more detail, and I didn't necessarily feel connected to any of the characters. I was interested in their story and intrigued by what was going on in the plot and everything, but there wasn't like a single character or creature or anything like that that made me feel super fixated on the story, and normally that is what would give me like a 5-star feeling. Also, that if I'm gonna rate something 4 stars, that I would recommend it to anybody, whereas like the 3-star range is like I would recommend it only to someone who likes the genre. If you like horror, or if you want to try something out that is horror related and you don't want to commit to something super big or super scary, I really would recommend this book because the writing style was really good, and the fact that it was super short was really nice. It was super easy to get through, which I appreciated. That is it for that. In regards to the entire like horror book video, I'm gonna count this as like a halfway fail, halfway success. We're gonna give me like a C. I do think that I will read horror books every once in a while going forward. I think it's good to like throw them in here and there, and I definitely want to read more T. Kingfisher. but in terms of making this like my next genre that I'm gonna dive into, that's gonna be a no. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you literally so much.